and I'm here today to talk about how to save your body from pain and overuse when you're painting, doing a painting project in a room or on some furniture. If you're new here, welcome. As I said, my name is Donna Gambino, and I'm a physical therapist. I have over 30 years experience, and my mission is to teach you how to control your pain and use your body in the best way possible to prevent injury. Today, like I said, we're going to talk about pain. I've been away for a while. If you've noticed, I haven't done a video for about a month, and that's because I've been working on some projects in my home since we moved to a new home, and I'm doing some furniture refinishing and also doing some painting on the walls in 2 large rooms because our painting contractor no-showed, so had to do it ourselves. So I learned a few things on these jobs on how to prevent pain in my own body, and with my husband also participating in this job, teaching him and watching him do some activities. I learned a few things and tips on how to give him some suggestions on how to make things better. So if you have your painting job, like I said, I did some furniture refinishing, and we did some stuff on the walls and with molding and high and low, all different positions. And at the end of the day, you can be really tired. You can have a lot of postural fatigue, and you can go to bed with pain. And I don't want that to happen for you. So here's what I learned. There's main problem areas in your body that take up the strain when you're doing a job like this. First one is your neck. We're hyperextended. You're working on the ceiling, you're working on crown molding, the neck is in a bad position for too long. The shoulders. Both shoulders are involved when you're painting. A lot of times you're holding things up, or you're trying to, brace yourself against a wall and paint. Shoulders, hands being above the shoulders for too long can put a lot of strain on the neck, as well as the rotator cuff tendons if you're doing something for a long period of time. Hands and wrists also take a beating. You're holding those paintbrushes, you're holding the rollers for long periods of time, rolling and painting into corners and around base moldings and stuff, and it really can strain the hand, especially if you have arthritis or any type of carpal tunnel syndrome. Low back, of course, from bending forward, squatting, getting into different positions to reach areas that are maybe out of your reach or low to the ground. If you have disc problems or low back problems, that can increase strain on those areas, and especially the feet. If you're standing on ladders for too long and you have plantar fasciitis, or if you have heel spurs or anything like that, it can really irritate your feet. So I'm going to go back into those 5 areas and kind of give you a few tips on things you can do to just decrease the stress on those areas. First one, hyperextension of the neck, looking up for too long. That is a big problem. You put a lot of strain on the bones and the discs back there, and neck pain can radiate into the arms, causing weakness because of compression into the nerves. So we want to really pay attention to our posture when we're looking up to paint. So your best bet is to make sure you're up high enough so you don't have to strain your neck. If you are looking at a ceiling, they do make supports for the back of the head. It's a harness that goes over you and a little kind of pad that you can rest. I'll insert a link here. You can rest your head on to just keep the weight of the head from really pulling back into that hyperextension. They're really helpful. A lot of them are not very expensive, and if you know you're going to be flipping houses or doing a lot of painting, it might be worth the investment to get something like that to help support your head and neck. Or if you're just somebody that does this by trade, that's another thing that you may want to invest in. Drywallers, anybody that's working above the head like that for prolonged periods of time. The shoulder, I mentioned rotator cuff. The main thing here is you want to keep your elbow below your shoulder. When you're up here and you have your arm really raised up high and you're doing that work overhead for long periods of time, if you have a little bit of postural change, you're going to get rub and wear and tear on those rotator cuff tendons, and you're going to start getting pain through here, through the outer shoulder, and right up into your neck. So you'll know. Take a look at my video on rotator cuff. It talks about that in a little bit more depth. But you want to take that stress off of the shoulder by keeping that elbow lower. If you're rolling a ceiling, long pole, make sure that you can have the pole long enough so that elbow can stay lower than the shoulder. You're going to take a lot of strain off of that. Same thing when you're painting, cutting in at crown moldings and stuff. Make sure you're high enough on your ladder or on your scaffolding that you can keep that elbow lower than your shoulder, and that's going to really help you there. Wrists and hands, if you're holding onto a paintbrush, this is one thing I learned because I have a little bit of arthritis in my therapist hand, and so holding the paintbrush in the right positioning is really good. You're gonna hold, instead of holding it back here on the long handle part of the paintbrush and swishing around like this where you're using your wrist too much. If carpal tunnel, you don't want to do that. You want to stabilize that area. Hold the paintbrush like a pencil. Put thumb, middle of this nice little metal thing here to rest on. Put your other fingers on the other side. You can put your index finger on top, and that way you have full control and you can use your arm instead of flexing your wrist too much, and you can take it at any angle that you want. It's going to take off a lot of stress and disperse the load throughout the hand. Okay, so that's just something that I've learned just from myself, just working too much. And some of the brushes, especially the chalk painting brushes, are a little bit heavier, so you're going to want to really pay attention to that. Okay, the low back, bending and squatting. There are stools. It's that simple. There are gardening stools. There are mechanics rolling stools that you can sit on. Those are not too expensive. I'm going to put links for everything that I mentioned as far as body mechanics equipment in the link in the description box below, so you can check those out. You can sit on a pad on the floor, cross-legged. If you don't have any hip tightness or knee problems, sit on the floor to get to lower point positions on the wall. You're going to want to make sure you're not flexing in the low back, so make sure you keep a nice neutral spine. Check my video out on neutral spine. Keep that neutral spine tip from the hip to get to those areas so that you're not in prolonged flexion for too long, especially if you have a bulging disc. You don't want to strain the back. If you are sitting on the floor, you don't have a stool, and maybe you're on carpet, and you're not going to scooch on the floor, get some magic gliders, those large ones, large rectangular ones, sit on those and scooch along on the carpet that way, so you don't have to get up and down, which is going to strain the knees a lot. You're just basically doing a deep squat, right? So your legs are super tired at the end of the day because you've been getting up and down off the floor 50, 60 times, however many. But you want to keep yourself close enough that you don't have to, lean too far over, so that will make you want to bend and flex, because after a while you're going to get tired, lose your neutral spine, and then you'll flex the low back and put some strain on the low back. As far as the feet go, if you have plantar fasciitis, heel spurs, any type of foot pain, you're going to want to wear really supportive shoes if you're going to be up and down off a ladder. Nothing that's too soft, because that rung is still going to just kind of dive into your foot there. Or better yet, get some low scaffolding that you can just walk across if you can, reach your ceiling and adjust that. That way you're not having to get up and down off the ladder. You can just walk across and then move your scaffolding around. Okay. As far as body mechanics go, you want to make sure you avoid reaching too far. Keep things closer to you. So if you're on that ladder and you're lazy, you don't want to get down, and you're just reaching and reaching, that one can cause a fall. Two, you're going to strain, because you're going to be reaching higher up, you're going to be reaching far over. You put a lot of strain on that shoulder, a lot of strain on the back. So be conscious of that. Just get down off the ladder, move it around, and get back to that where everything's close to you and right in front of you. Set up your workstations for comfort. When I was doing my furniture refinishing, I'll insert a little picture here. I set up some plywood on some sawhorses so that when I was painting chairs, that's hard to do. There's a lot of intricate spaces you got to get in underneath, and I'm tall, so I had to make sure that I could reach the upper parts of the chairs comfortably by standing, and then to get the lower parts, I could sit. So I just put the chairs up on a nice table so that I was comfortable in both, and I didn't get fatigue, and I could do all 6 of the chairs that I needed to refinish. Straining positions for too long are going to cause overuse and pain. So if you have to get under a cabinet, if you're repainting your cabinets and you're in this weird kind of position, try to position yourself and take breaks. I mean, you have to do it, right? So, take short little breaks, just do small sections at a time, maybe do an upright section, then do a low, and then do an upright section. Don't wait and do all the low sections at the same time. Disperse your workload. Okay, and just don't stay in those straining positions for too long. As far as treatments or prevention, you want to take breaks. Hydrate yourself. So make sure throughout your day you're taking, when we're busy doing stuff, we don't think about eating or drinking, right? So take, time to drink a lot of water, make sure those tissues are hydrated, do hand and finger stretches just to keep the hand limber, and so you're not stuck in this grip position. Just take breaks with that. If you're looking for finger stretches, and if there's plenty of that kind of stuff out on YouTube, or join one of my flexibility classes. We go through all the flexibility for the entire body from head to toe and how to keep things stretched out. Another good tip is to, during your break, take a lunch break or potty break, get on your foam roller for 5 to 10 minutes and lay on it vertically, head at one end, tail at the other. That is going to help reestablish a nice neutral spine, let your muscles remember, oh yes, that's where we go, and allow those tissues to just take a small break, and then you can get back into it. 5-10 minutes, that's all you need. And you know what? It's good to take a 5 to 10 minute break when you're doing heavy work anyway. As far as pain when it starts, you could use an ice pack. So again, you're taking a break, shoulders bothering you, slap an ice pack on it. Keep that inflammation down. Don't let it get out of control. Don't get to the point during your work day that you're like, oh my gosh, my arm is killing me. Let that little bit of pain that starts giving you a red flag be your indicator that you need to stop, take a break, put some ice on it for 10, 15 minutes, and then you can get back into that. And of course, do that again at the end of your work time. You can check out all my videos on ice massage too, and when to use heat or cold. Those are all in there, and it gives you a lot more information on how and when to use those. You can use tennis balls. I put some tennis balls in a sock. I use these lots of times. You can lay on these for your low back, get any strain out of your low back, in through the shoulder, into the feet, take your shoes off, give your feet a little massage with the tennis balls. Other massage tools like this little roller, you can get into the arm muscles, the forearm muscles if things are getting a little bit tight, and really work out those kinks, keep circulation going. I have a whole video on different massage tools that you can use to help increase circulation and decrease pain. So I hope that's helpful. If you found that helpful and you learned anything new in this video, click that like button. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear your questions about any work that you're doing, and maybe a suggestion I could give you on how to prevent pain. If you'd like to subscribe, I'd love to have you here joining this group of people just trying to prevent pain in their body and do their activities throughout their life. And also, if you'd like to join me for a class, I run classes every week. There's a link in the description box. They'll tell you what classes I'm running, and I also do private consultations if you're interested in that. So hope that helped, and stay pain-free while you're painting, and talk to you soon. Bye.